My beloved child, this moment has not arrived by accident. Today, December 19th, the veil is thinner than you realize, and Archangel Michael is stepping closer than ever before to your life. This is not a message meant for everyone. This is a divine interruption, carefully timed, precisely aligned, and personally addressed to you. Something hath been set in motion, and if you are hearing this now, it means heaven already marked your name before this day even began. Listen carefully. There is urgency in the air, not fear, but holy momentum. Archangel Michael is standing at attention, sword lowered, not for battle, but for announcement. He says, "Pay attention now, because what is opening will not wait. This time will not come again in the same way. The door you are standing before has a limited window, and today is the signal that it is beginning to move. You may have felt unusual emotions today, restlessness, sudden memories, unexplained calm, or even a gentle pressure in your chest. That was not random. It was the stirring of alignment. Archangel Michael is saying that the surprise approaching your life is not small, and it is not symbolic. It is real, physical, and tangible. What is about to unfold will correct something that has been delayed for far too long. Hear this clearly. A huge miracle is not on the way in a distant sense. It is already approaching the edge of manifestation. Heaven hath been arranging people, timing, conversations, and circumstances behind the scenes. Even what felt like setbacks were actually repositioning moments. You were being moved without being informed, protected without being told, and prepared without understanding why. Archangel Michael says, this is the moment you stop doubting whether you heard God correctly. Too many times you questioned your intuition. Too many times you talked yourself out of obedience. But today, heaven is confirming what you sense deep inside. That idea, that hope, that quiet expectation you buried, it was never foolish. It was prophetic. There is something important about today. December 19th is not just a date. It is a marker, a spiritual time step, a line drawn between the old cycle and the new one. Archangel Michael is revealing that what begins now will accelerate quickly. What once took months will start taking days. What once felt stuck will suddenly move with ease. This is why you must open immediately, not physically, but spiritually. Open your expectation. Open your mouth in faith. Open your heart without hesitation. A surprise is coming, and it will not look the way you imagined. That is intentional. God designed it to exceed your logic so that you would recognize His hand immediately. When it happens, you will say, only heaven could have arranged this. Archangel Michael says this miracle will restore more than one area of your life. It will touch your confidence, your faith, and your future decisions. You are not late. Let that sink in. You are not behind schedule. Heaven is not frustrated with you. In fact, Archangel Michael is smiling as he says this, because you endured longer than most would have. You stayed soft in a hard season. You kept believing even when answers were silent. That endurance is now speaking on your behalf. Pay close attention to signs today and in the next few days. Repeating numbers, unexpected messages, sudden invitations, or a strong inner nudge. These are confirmations, not coincidences. Archangel Michael is orchestrating clarity. Confusion is lifting. Fog is clearing. You are about to see why certain things had to fall apart before this could come together. Do not minimize what is happening. Do not delay your response. This time will not come again in the same form because it is tailored specifically to where you are right now. If you ignore it, the opportunity will still exist, but these attached to it will not. Heaven is offering grace-filled acceleration, and it requires your agreement. Archangel Michael says, stand firm, but stay open. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to chase anyone. What is meant for you is already being guided toward you. Your role is alignment, not anxiety. Faith, not fear. Expectation, not exhaustion. Right now, take a quiet breath and receive this truth. You are chosen for this moment. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. The miracle coming is not just about blessing. It is about confirmation. It will answer prayers you stopped praying out loud. It will heal disappointments you learned to live with. And it will remind you that God has never taken his eyes off you. Archangel Michael is still speaking, and what he reveals next will connect everything you have been through with what is about to happen. This is where clarity deepens, and the message becomes even more personal. Beloved one, as this message continues to unfold, Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to what has been happening beneath the surface of your life. You may have thought nothing was changing, but heaven has been extremely active. What looked like silence was actually strategy. What felt like delay was divine insulation. Archangel Michael says you were being shielded from information you were not yet ready to carry, because if you had known too early, it would have created pressure instead of preparation. There has been a quiet separation taking place around you. Certain people have slowly faded, conversations have shifted, and even familiar environments may have begun to feel uncomfortable. This was not rejection. This was redirection. Archangel Michael reveals that God was clearing emotional and spiritual noise so that you could hear this moment clearly. The miracle approaching your life requires clarity, not confusion, and alignment, not attachment. You may have noticed your tolerance changing. Things you once accepted no longer sit right with your spirit. This is a sign of elevation. Archangel Michael says heaven hath been increasing your spiritual sensitivity, not to overwhelm you, but to protect you. You are being trained to discern what is from God and what is simply familiar. The surprise coming will require you to trust your discernment without needing constant reassurance. Hear this carefully. The miracle approaching is connected to a decision you made when no one was watching. A moment when you chose integrity over convenience, faith over fear, obedience over explanation. You may not have realized it then, but that choice was recorded in heaven. Archangel Michael says that decision became a key that unlocked what is now moving toward you. There is also healing happening right now in your thought life. Patterns of overthinking, self-blame, and second-guessing are being dismantled. Archangel Michael is standing guard over your mind, ensuring that fear does not sabotage what faith has already approved. This is why certain worries feel weaker today. They are losing authority. They are no longer allowed to speak louder than truth. You are stepping into a season where your words matter more than ever. Archangel Michael warns gently, but firmly. Do not speak defeat over yourself in this window. Do not joke about failure. Do not minimize your expectations to appear humble. Heaven is listening closely, not to punish you, but to partner with you. What you agree with verbally is what gets permission to manifest. The surprise coming will bring movement where there was stagnation. For some, it will be a sudden opportunity. For others, a restoration that seemed impossible. For others still, clarity that instantly dissolves months of confusion. Archangel Michael says the form will differ, but the impact will be undeniable. You will know when it arrives, because peace will accompany it, not chaos. Right now, there is an invitation to deepen your trust. Not blind trust, but informed trust rooted in remembrance. Look back and recall the times God came through unexpectedly. Recall the protection you only understood later. Recall the strength that appeared exactly when you had none left. Archangel Michael says those memories are not nostalgia, they are evidence. And evidence builds faith for what is about to happen next. This is also a moment of alignment with community. You were never meant to walk this path alone. If this message is resonating with you, it is because your spirit recognizes truth. Engage with it. Acknowledge it. Let your presence be known. When you like, share, and comment on this message, you are not just supporting a channel. You are participating in agreement. Agreement strengthens manifestation. Unity amplifies revelation. Archangel Michael encourages you to remain connected. Subscribe so you do not miss what is being released in sequence. These messages are not isolated, they are layered. Each one builds upon the last, creating a complete picture. When you stay aligned, you stay informed. And when you stay informed, you stay prepared. Do not underestimate the power of sharing this message with someone who feels lost or discouraged. You may be the confirmation they have been praying for. Archangel Michael says that when you become a messenger, you also become a receiver. What you help release into others often returns to you multiplied. As this unfolds, stay attentive to your inner nudges. Sudden ideas, gentle urgings, and moments of clarity are instructions. Do not delay obedience by waiting for perfect conditions. The conditions will align as you move. Faith is motion, and motion is what activates momentum. Archangel Michael is still standing close, watching your response. Not with judgment, but with anticipation. Heaven is ready. The pieces are aligning. And what is coming next will reveal why this precise timing mattered so much. Chosen one, Archangel Michael is now revealing why this moment carries such weight in the spirit. What is approaching your life is not only a miracle, it is a correction. A divine adjustment that restores balance where imbalance ruled for too long. There were prayers you whispered in weakness, prayers you barely believed would ever be answered, and yet those prayers were preserved. Heaven does not discard sincere cries, even when faith trembles. Archangel Michael says those very prayers are now rising like incense, triggering a response that cannot be stopped. You have been living in a season where effort did not match outcome. You worked harder but saw less. You gave more but received little. This was not punishment. This was pruning. God was removing dependencies you did not know you had. He was teaching you to lean on His timing instead of your own strength. Archangel Michael reveals that the miracle coming will not demand exhaustion from you. It will arrive with grace. Ease will be the sign that it is from God. There is also a deep heart healing taking place right now. Disappointments that taught you to expect less are being gently uprooted. Archangel Michael says heaven is restoring your capacity to hope without fear. You learn to protect yourself by lowering expectations, but that protection is no longer needed. The environment has changed. You are no longer in survival mode. You are entering a season of receiving. Pay attention to this truth. Miracles are not just events. They are invitations. An invitation to think differently, to respond differently, to trust differently. What is coming will require you to say yes quickly, not impulsively but decisively. Delay is the language of doubt, and this season demands clarity. Archangel Michael says hesitation will be the only thing that can slow what is otherwise moving swiftly. You may feel a strange mixture of excitement and fear right now. That is normal. Fear often shows up when something bigger than your comfort zone approaches. But Archangel Michael wants you to know this miracle will not harm you, embarrass you, or expose you negatively. It will elevate you quietly. It will place you where you need to be without noise or struggle. This is also a warning spoken in love. Do not over-explain what God is doing in your life. Not everyone needs access to this unfolding. Some people can celebrate you, others can only tolerate you. Discernment will protect what God is birthing. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian, reminding you that silence can be just as spiritual as testimony. There is a divine reversal attached to this miracle. Something that once caused you stress will soon bring relief. Something that drained you will begin to sustain you. Something that confused you will suddenly make sense. Archangel Michael says the shift will feel sudden to you, but it has been prepared over time. As you listen, allow your spirit to stay engaged. What comes next carries deeper clarity about how to walk in this new season without self-sabotage. Hold on, because the next revelation ties everything together in a way you may not expect, and it will change how you see what is unfolding. Now receive this activation carefully. Type "I receive divine timing" in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 444 has just been released over your life. As this door opens and heaven moves with urgency, hear this invitation clearly. God says that when you sow into this message, you are helping His light reach souls who are standing at the edge of despair, waiting for confirmation like this. Just as Scripture declares that those who sow in faith will reap in due season, your support becomes seed in fertile ground, producing harvests far beyond what you can see. I feel led to tell you directly, your obedience in this moment carries weight in the Spirit. This message of Archangel Michael is flowing because vessels chose to respond, not delay. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal linked in the description, you are opening a river that carries hope to others. I speak blessing over every giver now. May heaven multiply back to you clarity, provision, and peace. Do not hesitate. Act now, and let your seed speak where your voice cannot. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to what must happen within you so that what is coming can remain. Miracles do not only arrive to bless, they arrive to transform stewardship. What you are about to receive will require a new level of inner alignment. This is why the last season felt so intense. God was strengthening your inner foundation so that when increase comes, it does not collapse you from the inside. There has been a quiet lesson unfolding about patience and restraint. You were tested not by lack alone, but by waiting. Waiting refined motives. Waiting exposes what we trust most. Archangel Michael reveals that during this waiting period, heaven observed your reactions more than your requests. You did not always understand, but you stayed. You questioned, but you did not quit. That endurance is now becoming authority. Understand this clearly. The miracle approaching is not fragile, but your mindset must be fortified. Old habits of thinking small, expecting disappointment, or preparing for loss cannot travel with you into this next phase. Archangel Michael says this is why you have been feeling prompted to let go of certain thought patterns. They were useful once, but now they are limiting. There is also a call to maturity in how you respond to others. You will notice that not everyone will understand the shift taking place in you. Some may misinterpret your growth as distance or pride. Do not be shaken by this. Growth always looks strange to those who are committed to familiarity. Archangel Michael reminds you that Jesus himself was misunderstood when he transitioned into purpose. You are stepping into a season where reaction matters more than reaction speed. You no longer need to defend yourself, explain your journey, or prove your worth. Heaven has already validated you. A miracle cunning will speak louder than any explanation ever could. Silence, when chosen wisely, will become one of your greatest strengths. There is something else unfolding quietly. Your discernment is sharpening. You will begin to sense when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain quiet. This is not paranoia. This is wisdom. Archangel Michael is helping you recognize subtle spiritual signals so that you do not misplace your energy. Energy stewardship will be crucial in the days ahead. You may also feel a renewed desire for simplicity. Complicated dynamics, draining conversations, and unnecessary obligations will begin to lose their appeal. This is not withdrawal. This is refinement. God is teaching you how to protect your peace, because peace will be the atmosphere where your miracle thrives. Chaos cannot host what is coming. Be aware of this subtle temptation, the urge to rush ahead once you sense momentum. Archangel Michael cautions you gently here. Acceleration does not mean impatience. Heaven's speed still includes timing. Trust that each step will be revealed as you need it, not all at once. Partial revelation keeps you dependent, and dependence keeps you aligned. This is also a moment to reconcile with your own past. Not to relive it, but to release it. Regret cannot coexist with gratitude. Archangel Michael says you are not being judged for where you stumbled. You are being celebrated for how you rose. The miracle approaching will not erase your past, but it will redeem it. What once felt wasted will begin to make sense as purpose unfolds. Notice how your prayers are changing. You may find yourself asking less for rescue and more for wisdom, less for escape and more for clarity. This is growth. This is readiness. Heaven responds differently when a soul matures in its asking. Archangel Michael affirms that your prayers are now aligned with heaven's intentions, and alignment produces swift answers. Stay attentive in the coming days. Not anxious but aware. There will be moments that seem ordinary on the surface but carry instruction underneath. A conversation, a delayed, a sudden opening, each will have meaning. You do not need to decode everything, only to remain present. Presence is how you recognize divine movement. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you, not as a distant observer, but as a guardian of this transition. He says you are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into the prepared. What is ahead has already been measured, weighed, and approved by heaven. You are safe to move forward. The unfolding continues, and what comes next will reveal how this miracle connects to your calling, not just your comfort. This is where purpose becomes clearer and where the blessing gains direction. Stay with this message, because the deeper revelation is now beginning to surface. Precious one, Archangel Michael is now guiding your awareness toward something deeper that has been forming quietly within you, readiness for responsibility. Many people pray for miracles, but few are prepared for what follows them. What is coming into your life is not meant to be admired from a distance. It is meant to be carried, managed, and multiplied. This is why heaven has been shaping your character as carefully as your circumstances. You may not have noticed it clearly, but your reactions to pressure have changed. Where you once panicked, you now pause. Where you once chased answers, you now wait for clarity. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Archangel Michael says this shift is evidence that you are being entrusted with more. Heaven never increases capacity without first increasing stability. There has also been a quiet lesson about humility unfolding in your life. Not humiliation, but humility. You have learned that you do not need to announce every victory or explain every move. This posture has positioned you correctly. Pride would have rushed the process, but humility has preserved it. Archangel Michael reveals that the miracle coming will not inflate your ego. It will deepen your gratitude. Understand this clearly. The blessing approaching your life will require consistency, not intensity. God is not asking you for dramatic displays of faith, but for steady obedience. Consistency sustains, but intensity initiates. This is why the last season focused so heavily on discipline, even when motivation was low. Discipline carried you when emotion could not. There is also a recalibration happening in how you view success. Success is no longer just arrival, it is sustainability. Archangel Michael says heaven is redefining victory for you. The goal is not just to reach a breakthrough, but to remain healthy, grounded, and aligned after it arrives. Burnout is not a badge of honor in this next season. Balance is. You may notice that your prayers are becoming more specific. Big requests are being replaced with intentional conversations. This is because your discernment has matured. You are no longer asking God to fix everything. You are asking Him to order your steps. That shift invites precision. Precision invites peace. There is also a gentle warning spoken with love. When the miracle manifests, resist the urge to rush into explanation mode. Let fruit speak. Let results speak. Let peace speak. Archangel Michael says that over-explaining can dilute authority. You do not owe everyone access to your process. Some people are meant to witness outcomes, not journeys. Another preparation taking place is emotional regulation. You are learning not to let highs make you careless or lows make you hopeless. This emotional steadiness is protection. The miracle coming will bring new interactions, new expectations, and new responsibilities. Stability will help you navigate them without losing yourself. You may also feel a growing desire to align your environment with your future. Certain habits, routines, or even physical spaces may feel misaligned. This is not restlessness. It is refinement. Archangel Michael encourages you to honor these nudges. Small adjustments now will create room for larger blessings later. This season is also teaching you the power of timing and speech. Not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. Not every correction needs to be made publicly. Wisdom knows when to wait. Archangel Michael says silence at the right time can protect relationships and preserve momentum. You are learning to respond, not react. There is a subtle but important truth being revealed now. The miracle coming will not remove effort from your life, but it will remove unnecessary struggle. You will still act, but with clarity. You will still work, but with direction. You will still give, but without depletion. This is what grace looks like in motion. Pay attention to your inner sense of peace. Peace will be your confirmation signal. If something looks good but steals your peace, pause. If something feels simple but brings peace, pay attention. Archangel Michael is teaching you to prioritize inner witness over outer pressure. This will save you from costly detours. You are also being prepared to lead in ways you did not expect. Leadership does not always look like position. Sometimes it looks like example. Others will watch how you handle this season. Your calm will instruct them. Your integrity will encourage them. Your patience will challenge them. This influence is not accidental. Archangel Michael wants you to know that heaven is proud of your progress. Not because you did everything perfectly, but because you remain teachable. Teachability keeps you aligned. Alignment keeps you protected. Protection keeps you advancing. As this unfolds, remain anchored. Do not drift into speculation about how everything will happen. Stay present. Obedience lives in the present moment. The next revelation will show you how this miracle intersects with others, and why your obedience will have ripple effects beyond your own life. Stay attentive, because the unfolding purpose is becoming clearer with each step. Beloved child, Archangel Michael is now shifting your focus from preparation to positioning. There is a difference, and this distinction matters greatly in this moment. Preparation happens in hidden seasons. Positioning happens when heaven begins to place you visibly and tangibly where you belong. You are crossing the threshold now. What once felt internal is starting to express itself externally, and this transition requires awareness so you do not misinterpret what God is doing. You may begin to notice that situations are presenting you with choices rather than obstacles. Doors are opening that require discernment, not desperation. Archangel Michael says this is intentional. Heaven is watching how you choose, not to test you harshly, but to train you gently. Choice reveals trust. Choice reveals maturity. And maturity invites greater authority. There is also a divine shift happening in how people respond to you. Some will subtly seek your opinion. Others may feel unsure how to relate to you. This is not because you changed your heart, but because your spiritual posture has shifted. Archangel Michael reminds you that when God elevates you, relationships must either adjust or fall away. Neither outcome is a failure. Both are forms of alignment. Be mindful not to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. This temptation often appears right before a breakthrough. You may feel the urge to downplay what God is doing so that you are not misunderstood. But Archangel Michael says humility does not require hiding. You can remain gentle without becoming invisible. You can be kind without being small. There is also an invitation in this season to strengthen your spiritual discipline. Not out of fear, but out of stewardship. Prayer, reflection, and intentional stillness will help you stay centered as momentum increases. A miracle coming will bring movement, and movement without grounding can become overwhelming. Archangel Michael stands as a stabilizing force, reminding you to stay rooted as you rise. Notice how your discernment is being tested in subtle ways. Not everything that looks good is God, and not everything that feels challenging is resistance. Some challenges are confirmations. Some delays are protections. Archangel Michael encourages you to ask for wisdom rather than speed. Wisdom will always outpace haste in the long run. This is also a season of learning how to receive without guilt. You have been conditioned to earn everything through struggle. But grace does not always arrive through hardship. Sometimes it arrives as relief. Sometimes it arrives as favor. Archangel Michael says, do not apologize for what God gives you. Gratitude is the proper response, not guilt. As you move forward, allow yourself to engage with this message actively. When you like and share this video, you are not performing a routine action. You are signaling agreement. Agreement creates spiritual resonance. When you comment, you are anchoring the message into your own journey. When you subscribe and stay connected, you are choosing to remain aligned with what heaven is releasing consistently. These actions are not small. They are participations. There are others who need this word but may never search for it. When you share, you become the bridge. Archangel Michael says that bridges are blessed because they carry others safely across places they could not cross alone. Do not underestimate the impact of your obedience in simple things. You may also feel an increased sensitivity to time. Moments may feel significant. Conversations may feel weighted. This is because you are becoming more present. Presence is a gift. It allows you to recognize divine appointments when they happen. Archangel Michael urges you not to rush through this season. Speed can dull awareness. Stillness sharpens it. There is a quiet courage rising in you. Courage that does not announce itself loudly, but stands firm when it matters. This courage will be required soon. Not for confrontation, but for decision. You will be asked to choose alignment over familiarity, growth over comfort, purpose over approval. Archangel Michael assures you that you will not be alone in that moment. Strength will meet you there. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself is being refined. Harsh self-criticism is losing its grip. In its place, truth is forming. Truth that reminds you of who you are and whose you are. This internal shift is not accidental. It is necessary. The miracle coming needs a mind that agrees with heaven, not one that argues with it. There may also be moments of temptation to look back, to revisit old patterns or old connections out of nostalgia. Archangel Michael cautions you gently here. What you left behind cannot support where you are going. Honor the past, but do not return to it. You have outgrown it. Everything you are experiencing now is intentional. Nothing is random. Heaven is precise. Archangel Michael is precise. And you are being guided step by step. If you sense a stirring to stay engaged, do not ignore it. What is about to be revealed next will help you understand the timing of this miracle even more clearly, and why staying attentive right now matters more than ever. Hold on, because this next unfolding carries insight that will protect what is coming and position you to receive it fully. Beloved one, Archangel Michael is now unveiling a deeper layer of what this miracle truly represents. Until now, much of the focus had been on preparation, alignment, and positioning. But there is a greater purpose attached to what is coming, one that reaches beyond personal relief or celebration. This miracle is connected to legacy. Not legacy in the sense of fame or recognition, but legacy in the sense of impact that outlives moments and seasons. There has been a quiet shaping of your values over the past months. Things that once excited you no longer hold the same power. Your desires have been refined. This was not loss of passion. It was purification of intention. Archangel Michael says God was aligning your heart so that when blessing arrives, it flows through you rather than stopping at you. You are not being blessed just to be satisfied, but to be significant. You may not fully see it yet, but your obedience in small, unseen moments has been teaching you how to carry weight responsibly. Weight is different from pressure. Weight grounds. What is coming will add weight to your words, your presence, and your decisions. People will listen differently. Situations will respond differently. This is not something to fear. It is something to steward. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that stewardship requires awareness. You will need to be intentional about where you place your energy, your time, and your trust. Not everyone who comes close will be meant to stay close. Discernment will be your safeguard. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming wise. There is also a healing happening around how you view responsibility. In the past, responsibility may have felt heavy or unfair, especially if you carried burdens that were never meant to be yours. But this responsibility is different. It will feel aligned. It will feel purposeful. It will feel like an extension of who you are becoming, not a weight imposed on you. Pay attention to how your compassion has matured. You still care deeply, but you no longer absorb everything emotionally. This balance is crucial. Archangel Michael says empathy without boundaries leads to depletion, but empathy with wisdom leads to influence. You are learning how to help without losing yourself. This lesson will protect you in the season ahead. There is also a recalibration happening in how you interpret challenges. You are no longer quick to assume that difficulty means disapproval. Sometimes difficulty means transition. Sometimes resistance means you are crossing a threshold. Archangel Michael reminds you that even Jesus faced resistance when he stepped into new levels of purpose. Resistance does not always mean stop. Sometimes it means stand firm. You may notice that your confidence is becoming quieter but stronger. You do not need constant affirmation anymore. You are beginning to trust what God has spoken to you internally. This inner assurance is evidence of growth. Archangel Michael says when confidence is rooted in God, it does not need to prove itself. It simply moves forward. This season is also teaching you the value of pacing. You are learning that faster is not always better. Sustainable growth honors rhythm. There will be moments to act decisively and moments to wait intentionally. Both are forms of obedience. Archangel Michael encourages you to listen closely for timing cues. Timing will matter as much as action. You are also becoming more aware of spiritual atmosphere. Certain environments energize you, while others drain you. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is awareness. Honor it. Where you plant yourself matters. Where you linger matters. Archangel Michael says your peace is a compass. Follow it. There is an invitation here to trust God with outcomes, not just intentions. You have learned to surrender plans, but now you are being asked to surrender expectations. Allow God to exceed your imagination. Allow Him to surprise you. Control will limit what grace wants to extend. Trust creates room for wonder. Notice how your prayers are increasingly aligned with purpose rather than panic. You are asking better questions. You are listening more than speaking. This posture invites clarity. Archangel Michael affirms that clarity will be one of the greatest gifts of this miracle. Confusion will not accompany it. Peace will. You are also being positioned as a witness. Not through loud declarations, but through consistency. Others will observe how you navigate this season. They will notice your steadiness. They will sense your peace. Without realizing it, they will be encouraged to believe again. Your life will quietly testify that God still moves. As this unfolds, guard against comparison. Your journey is custom designed. What God is doing in you cannot be replicated or rushed. Comparison steals joy and distorts focus. Archangel Michael says stay in your lane. Grace flows strongest there. Everything you are experiencing now is building toward a moment of clarity where purpose and provision intersect. That intersection is powerful. It is where calling becomes actionable and faith becomes visible. The next revelation will speak directly to how this miracle will unfold in time and what to do when it arrives suddenly. Stay attentive, because the unfolding is accelerating, and what comes next will help you recognize the moment when it is fully upon you. Beloved child, Archangel Michael is now speaking with heightened clarity because you are approaching a convergence point. This is the place where preparation meets manifestation, where prayer meets response, and where faith meets visible movement. Many people miss this moment because it does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it arrives quietly, disguised as a simple opportunity, a subtle shift, or a sudden inner knowing. But this is why you are hearing this now, so you do not overlook what heaven is highlighting. There is something important you must understand. Miracles often come clothed in responsibility. When God answers, He also entrusts. When He opens, He also expects stewardship. This is not to burden you, but to dignify you. Archangel Michael says heaven does not hand precious things to careless hands. You have been trained for this. Even when you did not realize training was happening, you may feel a sense of anticipation mixed with uncertainty. That tension is not a warning, it is a signal. It means you are standing on the edge of change. Old rhythms will no longer sustain you. New patterns are required. This does not mean abandoning everything familiar, but it does mean updating how you respond, how you decide, and how you prioritize. There is also a call now to courage and obedience. Not dramatic courage, but quiet courage. The courage to say yes without full explanation. The courage to move without public approval. The courage to trust what God has confirmed repeatedly in your spirit. Archangel Michael reminds you that delayed obedience can dilute momentum. When clarity comes, movement should follow. You may also notice that distractions are increasing. This is not accidental. Distraction is often the last attempt to pull focus away from alignment. Archangel Michael urges you to guard your attention. What you focus on will determine what you perceive. This is not the time to scatter your energy. It is the time to consolidate it. There is a refining happening in how you define success. Success is no longer about proving something to others. It is about honoring what God has entrusted to you. This internal shift will protect you from chasing validation instead of purpose. Archangel Michael says purpose produces fulfillment, but validation produces exhaustion. Be mindful of your pace. Excitement can tempt you to rush, but wisdom will invite you to move deliberately. You do not need to run ahead to prove faith. Faith walks confidently, trusting that provision will meet obedience. Archangel Michael assures you that you will not miss what is meant for you by moving at the pace of peace. There is also a moment coming soon where you will need to choose alignment over convenience. The choice may seem small on the surface, but it carries weight. Heaven is watching not to judge you, but to partner with you. When you choose alignment, heaven reinforces that decision with support you did not expect. Pay attention to how your inner resistance is decreasing. Things that once felt intimidating now feel manageable. This is evidence of growth. Archangel Michael says fear is losing its influence because truth is taking its place. You are beginning to see yourself the way heaven sees you, not as lacking but as equipped. Hold on here, because what is being revealed now is critical for what comes next. Many stop listening once they feel encouraged, but instruction follows encouragement. Stay present. This is where understanding deepens, and where protection is released. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if you are ready to receive what heaven has prepared for you. Blessing code 888 is now activated over your path. As Archangel Michael calls you into alignment and action, hear this invitation as part of the message itself. God says that when you support this work, you are placing oil in the lamp so the light never goes out for those still searching in the dark. Scripture declares that when seed is sown in good soil, the harvest is pressed down and overflowing, and this message is reaching hearts because faithful partners make room for it. I speak to you personally now. Your response matters in this hour. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal found in the description, you are helping heaven interrupt lives at the exact right moment. I release blessing over every supporter. May doors open, clarity increase, and provision multiply back to you. Do not delay what God is prompting. Obey now, and let your giving become a prophetic act that echoes far beyond this moment. Beloved one, Archangel Michael is now turning your attention to the internal shift that must fully settle before the miracle becomes undeniable. Many people think the visible change is the most important part, but heaven prioritizes inner agreement first. What is happening now is a deep alignment between what God has promised and what you are finally ready to receive without resistance. Resistance does not always look like doubt. Sometimes it looks like self-protection, fear of disappointment, or the habit of expecting less. You have learned to survive seasons where nothing seemed to work out. That survival taught you strength, but it also taught you caution. Archangel Michael says this is the moment to release that caution. Not wisdom, but caution rooted in past pain. You are no longer standing in the environment that wounded you. You are standing in a prepared place. The miracle coming does not require you to brace for impact. It requires you to open your hands. There is a truth being revealed now that may feel uncomfortable at first. You have been more ready than you allowed yourself to believe. You kept postponing joy, telling yourself you would celebrate once everything was certain. But certainty often follows obedience and not the other way around. Archangel Michael says heaven is waiting for your agreement, not your perfection. You may notice emotions rising unexpectedly, moments of gratitude, sudden tears, or a quiet sense of awe. These are not random. They are signs that your heart is beginning to accept what your mind has struggled to process. Acceptance is powerful. It allows blessing to land instead of bouncing off defenses built in harder seasons. There is also a lesson here about identity. For a long time, struggle shaped how you saw yourself. You became the one who endures, the one who holds on, the one who waits. While endurance is honorable, it is not meant to be your permanent identity. Archangel Michael says you are transitioning from endurance to inheritance. That shift requires you to see yourself differently. Pay attention to how your language is changing. You may find yourself speaking with more confidence, even unintentionally. This is alignment. Words follow belief. Belief follows revelation. Revelation is unfolding right now. You are beginning to believe that good things can happen without being taken away just as quickly. There is also a recalibration happening around trust. Not just trust in God, but trust in yourself. You are learning that you can handle blessing without losing balance. You can receive without becoming careless. You can be favored without becoming proud. Archangel Michael says this self-trust is not arrogance, it is maturity. You are also being prepared for visibility. Even if the miracle is private, its effects will be noticeable. Others will sense the shift. Some will ask questions. Some will draw closer. Some may feel uncomfortable. Do not interpret every reaction as opposition. People respond differently to change, especially when it reflects what they desire but have not pursued. Guard against the temptation to explain everything. Explanation seeks validation. Alignment rests in assurance. Archangel Michael reminds you that Jesus did not explain himself to everyone, yet his authority was unquestionable. Let peace be your confirmation. There is also an important reminder being released now. Miracles often come in stages. Do not dismiss the first sign because it does not look complete. Small beginnings carry the same divine signature as full manifestation. Gratitude for the beginning accelerates the completion. Archangel Michael says honor each step. You may be tempted to revisit old fears as a form of control, thinking that if you anticipate disappointment, it will hurt less. This is a familiar pattern, but it is no longer necessary. Anticipation rooted in fear does not protect you, it restricts you. Replace it with expectation rooted in faith. This season is also inviting you to rest in the process. Not passive rest, but confident rest. The kind of rest that trusts movement is happening even when you are not forcing it. Archangel Michael says striving will not speed this up. Agreement will. Be attentive to divine timing cues. You may feel prompted to act suddenly or wait unexpectedly. Both can be obedience. The key is listening. Heaven is not rushing you, but it is guiding you. When instruction comes, it will feel clear, calm, and consistent. There is a covering over you right now. Protection not just from harm, but from distraction, confusion, and misalignment. Archangel Michael stands watch, ensuring that what is meant for you reaches you without unnecessary interference. Trust that, as this unfolds, something important is about to be revealed regarding how to protect what you receive once it arrives. Many can receive a miracle, few know how to keep it. This next insight is crucial, and it may be the difference between temporary breakthrough and lasting transformation. Stay with this message. What comes next will help you secure what heaven is releasing and show you how to walk forward without losing momentum. You will want to hear this part, because it answers a question you have carried silently for a long time. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael is now addressing a question that has been forming quietly in your spirit. How do you protect what God is about to release into your life? Many people receive breakthroughs only to lose them through misalignment, exhaustion, or distraction. Heaven is determined that this will not be your story. What is coming is meant to last, grow, and mature with you, not overwhelm you or slip through your hands. The first layer of protection is awareness. You are being trained to recognize when something is sacred and should not be handled casually. Not every blessing needs to be announced. Not every opportunity needs immediate response. Archangel Michael says discernment will be your shield. If something pressures you to rush, manipulate, or compromise peace, pause. God's blessings do not require panic to sustain them. There is also a lesson here about boundaries. In past seasons, you may have overextended yourself, giving access to people who did not know how to honor what you carried. That season taught you something valuable. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. Gates allow you to decide what enters and what exits. Archangel Michael affirms that strong boundaries will preserve your joy in this next phase. You are also learning to protect your time. Time is not just a resource, it is an offering. Where you place it reveals what you value. A miracle coming will require intentional time stewardship, not busyness but focus. Archangel Michael says clarity will increase as you simplify. Eliminate unnecessary noise so that divine direction remains clear. Another key is consistency. Breakthrough moments are powerful, but consistency is what transforms them into lifestyle. You do not need to reinvent yourself overnight. Small, faithful steps will maintain what God establishes. Archangel Michael reminds you that faithfulness is not flashy, but it is effective. You may notice that your appetite for drama and unnecessary conflict is diminishing. This is protection. Peace is not avoidance. It is wisdom choosing alignment over reaction. A miracle coming will flourish in an environment of calm, not chaos. Guard your emotional atmosphere carefully. There is also instruction regarding gratitude. Gratitude anchors blessings. Complaining loosens them. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect, but it does mean acknowledging God's hand consistently. Archangel Michael says gratitude keeps your heart soft and your vision clear. You are also being reminded not to isolate. Independence has helped you survive, but connection will help you sustain. Stay connected to sources that strengthen your faith and sharpen your discernment. This is why remaining engaged here matters. When you like this message, share it, and comment. You are not just interacting with content, you are participating in a flow of agreement and encouragement. When you subscribe, you are choosing consistency, choosing to stay aligned with what heaven is releasing over time. There are others who will find strength because you chose to stay engaged. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your obedience. Archangel Michael says that unity multiplies protection. When believers stand together in agreement, interference loses access. You may also feel a renewed sense of responsibility toward your spiritual growth. This is good. Growth protects blessing. Stagnation makes room for compromise. Stay curious. Stay teachable. Stay anchored. These qualities will keep you steady as momentum increases. There is a caution spoken gently now. Do not romanticize the struggle once blessing arrives. It can be tempting to identify with hardship because it feels familiar. But familiarity is not always alignment. Allow yourself to fully step into the new without dragging the old along. Archangel Michael says you are allowed to outgrow what once kept you alive. You are also being prepared to manage expectations, your own and others. Not everyone will understand your choices. Some may project their fears or limitations onto you. Listen without absorbing. Respect without retreating. Your path has been confirmed by heaven. That is enough. Notice how your confidence is becoming quieter yet firmer. This is spiritual maturity. You no longer need external permission to believe what God has spoken. Archangel Michael affirms that this internal assurance will protect you from unnecessary detours. There is also an invitation to rest without guilt. Rest does not mean inactivity. It means trust. You do not need to monitor every detail to ensure success. God is involved. Archangel Michael is guarding what concerns you. Release the need to control outcomes. As you move forward, stay alert but not anxious. Expectant but not impatient. Grounded but not rigid. Balance will be key. Heaven is not just interested in what you receive, but in who you become while carrying it. What is coming next will speak directly to the final unfolding of this miracle and the role you play in releasing it fully. There is a completion approaching, a moment of clarity that brings everything together. Stay with this message. The final revelations will confirm what your spirit already senses. This season is about to culminate in a way that leaves no doubt that God has been with you all along. Beloved child, Archangel Michael is now drawing everything into focus. What once felt scattered is beginning to align. What felt uncertain is becoming clear. You are entering a narrowing moment, where distractions fall away and purpose sharpens. This is often the quietest part before completion, the sacred pause before fulfillment becomes visible. Do not mistake this calm for inactivity. Heaven is intensely active right now. There is a sealing taking place in your spirit. Decisions you once wrestled with no longer feel heavy. You are not second-guessing as much. You are not seeking constant confirmation. This is not because you stopped caring, but because you are settling into trust. Archangel Michael says this inner settling is critical. It signals that you are ready to walk forward without being pulled backward by doubt. You may notice that old temptations to quit, retreat, or settle are losing their voice. They still whisper, but they no longer command your attention. This is growth. This is authority for me. Authority does not shout. It stands. You are learning how to stand without needing to explain why you are confident. There is also a sense of emotional closure happening. Things that once triggered you now feel distant. Memories that once carried pain now feel neutral. This does not mean they did not matter. It means they no longer control you. Archangel Michael reveals that emotional freedom is one of the final preparations before lasting blessing. What is unresolved emotionally can resurface under pressure. Heaven is ensuring stability. This is also a moment where your intuition is becoming clearer than logic. You may not have all the facts, but you have peace. That peace is not passive. It is informed by divine insight. Archangel Michael encourages you to trust that peace. It is the result of alignment, not ignorance. Pay attention to how your desires are now aligning with purpose instead of impulse. You are no longer chasing what looks impressive. You are drawn to what feels meaningful. This shift will protect you from distractions that appear attractive but lead nowhere. Heaven is refining your appetite so you choose what sustains rather than what entertains. There is also a strengthening of patience taking place. Not the patience of waiting without hope, but the patience of confidence. You are no longer watching the clock anxiously. You are aware that timing is unfolding. Archangel Michael says this kind of patience is powerful because it does not rush God or resist Him. It cooperates. You may feel moments of stillness where nothing seems to be happening externally. Do not fill those moments with noise. Stillness is where instructions settle. Stillness is where clarity deepens. Archangel Michael says some of the most important shifts happen in quiet agreement, not visible action. There is also a reminder being released now about humility. Not the humility of thinking less of yourself, but the humility of recognizing God as the source. When the miracle completes its unfolding, remember where it came from. Gratitude will keep your heart aligned. Pride will try to claim ownership. Choose remembrance over entitlement. You are also being prepared for testimony. Not a rehearsed story, but a lived one. Others will ask how this happened. Your answer does not need to be detailed. Sometimes the simplest truth carries the most power. God was faithful. Archangel Michael says your testimony will restore hope in places you may never visit physically. Be aware that endings can feel emotional even when they are good. Letting go of an old season, even a difficult one, can feel strange. That season shaped you. It taught you resilience. Honor it, but do not cling to it. You are not going backward. You are being released forward. There is a sense of divine completion approaching. Not finality, but fulfillment of this phase. Heaven works in cycles, and this cycle is closing with intention. Archangel Michael assures you that what ends now makes room for what begins next. Nothing is being taken without replacement. Nothing is being closed without expansion. You may also feel a growing desire to simplify your life, to remove clutter, distractions, and unnecessary obligations. This is alignment. Simplicity creates space. Space allows blessing to breathe. Archangel Michael encourages you to honor this instinct. What you remove intentionally now will not need to be removed forcefully later. Trust that you are not missing anything important. You are exactly where you need to be. The pressure to hurry is not from God. Completion will arrive at the appointed moment, and when it does, it will feel right. Not rushed, not forced, and firm. As this message moves toward its final revelation, know this: you have been guided carefully, patiently, and personally. Archangel Michael has not left your side. The final unfolding will not just confirm the miracle, it will confirm you. Who you are becoming, what you carry, and why this season mattered so deeply. Remain attentive. The culmination is near, and what comes next will release blessing, clarity, and authority in a way that seals everything you have heard. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything settles into place. Archangel Michael stands before you now, not with warning, not with preparation, but with confirmation. What you sensed from the very beginning was true. This was never imagination. This was never coincidence. This was a divine summons, unfolding step by step, so that your spirit could recognize it without fear. You have arrived at the closing of one chapter and the opening of another, and heaven is bearing witness. There is a sacred stillness around you now. Not emptiness, but completion. The kind of stillness that follows alignment. The kind that comes with striving ends and trust takes its place. Archangel Michael says this is the peace that confirms heaven's work. You are no longer chasing the miracle. A miracle is meeting you. What is being released now is not just an answer, but authority. Authority to walk forward without hesitation. Authority to choose without second guessing. Authority to receive without guilt. You are stepping into a place where faith and confidence coexist. This is not arrogance. This is agreement with what God has spoken over your life. You may notice that your perspective has shifted permanently. Things that once consumed your attention no longer hold the same weight. You are not dismissive. You are discerning. You are not detached. You are directed. Archangel Michael says this clarity is part of the miracle. When vision sharpens, confusion loses power. There is also release happening from spiritual fatigue. Long seasons of waiting can quietly drain joy, even when faith remains. Heaven has seen your endurance. Archangel Michael declares that restoration is now flowing into the places where weariness once lived. Strength is being renewed, not through effort but through divine exchange. This miracle will not announce itself loudly. It will integrate itself naturally into your life, bringing stability where there was uncertainty and confidence where there was hesitation. Others may call it luck or timing. You will know better. You will recognize the fingerprints of God all over it. Be mindful to remain grounded as things shift. Gratitude will keep you anchored. Humility will keep you teachable. Obedience will keep you protected. Archangel Michael reminds you that miracles are not endpoints, they are gateways. Walk through with awareness, non-distraction. There will be moments ahead where you are tempted to look back, not out of desire, but out of habit. Release that instinct. You do not need to reference the past to validate the present. What God is doing now stands on its own authority. The old season served its purpose. This one will serve its calling. You are also stepping into a season where your discernment will protect you more than your effort ever did. Trust the peace. Trust the pause. Trust the clarity. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not alone in navigating what comes next. Guidance will continue. Instruction will come when needed. Notice how your prayers now feel different. Less desperate, more confident, more conversational. This is intimacy. You are no longer pleading from distance. You are speaking from alignment. Heaven responds quickly to prayers that rise from agreement. This is also a reminder to remain generous in spirit. Blessing does not shrink when shared, it multiplies. Encourage when you can. Speak life when you are able. Your words carry weight now. Use them wisely. Archangel Michael says your voice will open doors for others without you realizing it. As this message reaches its completion, receive this truth fully. You did not miss your moment. You did not arrive too late. You were prepared precisely on time. Heaven's timing is exact, and today marks a turning point you will recognize in hindsight with gratitude. Now receive this final activation. Type "I am ready" and sealed in the comments if you receive this message fully. Blessing code 1212 is now released and sealed over your life. As this divine cycle closes and Archangel Michael seals what heaven has spoken, hear this command clearly. God says that when you give in this moment, you are helping this prophetic fire reach those who are still waiting for confirmation that He sees them. Just as Scripture declares that those who water others will themselves be watered, your support becomes a living seed that releases light, clarity, and hope across the world. I speak directly to you now. This is not about charity, this is about obedience. When you activate Super Thanks, step into membership, or give through PayPal in the description, you are partnering with Heaven's assignment. I bless every giver now with open doors, protected increase, and divine remembrance. Do not delay what God has placed in your spirit. Act now, and let your giving stand as a prophetic signature on everything that has been released today.